Get ready with me while I talk about how my got posted on my story, on my main story. I just wanted to say in my last video, no, drunk driving is actually terrible. You can kill someone, you can kill yourself, and you can definitely end up in jail. I obviously worded it wrong, and I meant to say don't be dumb, be smart when you're underage drinking. Drunk driving, never drunk drive, period. It was sophomore year of high school. I lived with my dad, and my stepmom is a teacher at the high school. And she's a very strict teacher. She's an English teacher, and she was a very strict stepmom too. My dad's house was strict in general. I started dating this guy, and I posted him, and it was kind of like the coming out post, like the hard launch. And then obviously someone was mad about that. I had to put my phone up at night because my parents were very strict. So I had to put it up in the laundry room, and couldn't have it after like 9 p.m. I'm just going to sleep on a regular Wednesday night. My phone's up, don't have it or anything. And my stepbrother comes into my room and says, "Your nudes are posted all over your story." My stepbrother. Well, obviously I asked him how, and it's on my old Snap, the one I had when I was a freshman in high school, 8th grade freshman in high school I had it, and they had somehow hacked into it and posted it. I then asked him to show me, but I said, "Don't look at it, please don't look at it, like obviously, please don't look at it, that's embarrassing," my stepbrother. And then he goes, "Oh, like, Carm, it's already all in the basketball group chat, like that's how I found out." I said, Oh. I'm like, "Okay, just don't look at him again, just turn your phone around and just click." He turns his phone around and proceeds to just keep clicking, and I drop to the floor. I feel like I'm literally dying. I feel like my life is over. I hope you guys can relate to both. So I go and get my phone out of the laundry room after I gather myself together, and my phone won't even like power on. Like I can't even unlock it because of how many calls and texts I'm getting from friends, parents, friends, my mom's ex-boyfriends. Yeah. I stay up on my phone, I can't figure out who did it. Everyone's blowing up my phone, and I can't do anything about it because it's on my old Snapchat. And then they proceeded to post stuff on my TikTok. They got into my spam account on TikTok because they had the same password. I'm pretty sure. I still don't know. Woke up in the morning. I had to go to school because I couldn't tell my stepmom that I was sick because she was very strict. So if I told her that I was sick and I didn't have a fever, I would be sent to school anyways. And if I told her what happened, I would be grounded for life. I walk into school, and immediately everyone is asking me, "Why are you here? Why are you here?" Oh my god. Everyone's being honestly kind of nice about it. It was honestly terrible, and the pictures were terrible in general because of how young I was. So it was just more embarrassing than it already was. There was teachers that knew that were pulling me aside, asking me why I was there. In my classes, people were constantly laughing at me. Just laughing in general, and then I'd look over and they would stop laughing. I would be walking behind people in the hallways and guys that had girlfriends, and they would be talking about it. They'd be saying how they screenshotted it. There was one guy that was very nice and tried to help me get him taken down. Fast forward to the end of the day. Obviously, the day was terrible. Everyone was staring at me. I was crying on and off all day. A teacher pulls me out of my classroom, the one that already knew, and two of them actually, and told me that I needed to tell my stepmom or they were going to tell her. And the other people have already said they were going to tell her because they were worried about myself. Go ahead and tell her, and we pull her out of class, and she starts getting mad at me, saying that this is so terrible, and everyone that looks at this is it's a felony, and I committed a felony, and I could get in so much trouble for this, and I should feel so bad about myself. Yeah, it was bad. So that made me feel a lot better, obviously. Get home, and we have to tell my dad, which apparently someone also ended up showing my stepmom the pictures of me, which I don't know why that was necessary. They proceed to ask to go through my phone to make sure there's no more. And they go through my home eyes only, and they find videos of me vaping, videos of me smoking, videos of me drinking. Actually, surprisingly, never end up getting in trouble. I think they just started checking my phone more often, but you know, it was pretty terrible. My school was really nice about it and honestly like really supportive and there for me, but except the guys obviously, which that's expected, but other schools, it was bad. Talk of the school for a hot minute, but once it was over, it was kind of over with, which was really nice. But I still don't know who did it till this day. I'm sure you're watching this or gonna see this, and you probably watch my videos. But yeah, I mean, it kills me that I do not know who did it, but also I'm sure that you know that you're a piece of shit. So, right, I'm done. To wrap it up, it was very traumatizing, and it definitely made me very insecure and gave me a lot of issues down the road, but I've gotten over it now, hopefully.
I was talking to my friend the other day and somehow we got on the topic of apartments, right? And I was like, yeah, I really want to move out. Like, I'm really excited, but I'm looking at apartment prices and my smile's fading. Like, who can afford that? And they were like, well, obviously you have to get a roommate. Like, that's the technique, right? And I thought back on this one story from a friend of a friend, and I never want to hear that R word again. No, roommates, more like ravenous. Absolutely not. Now, quick disclaimer, this story is not from me. This is from a friend of a friend. The only roommate that I've ever lived with is my mom downstairs, who's probably trying to kick me out right now because we're beefing. But even though this isn't even from like a direct friend, when I heard this story, I want to say 4 years ago, I've never forgot this. Like, dead ass bone chilling. This is a scary fucking story. I feel like I need a trigger warning for almost everything in this story. Well, I'm already starting to get sweat stains thinking about this story. Alrighty, so throwback. This is back in college. Now, I went to college, allegedly, right? But something about me, I went to college right down the street, 20 minutes away. So maybe that was a commute, okay? My parents gave me two options here. They were like, okay, you either can live on campus at college that is 20 minutes away and be in debt for the rest of your life and cry and never like have friends again, never smile, or you can live at home with your sweet family and you could be rich, right? I'm looking at my bank account with $20 and I'm like, freedom sounds good. I'll commute, all right? I have a car and a dream, right? If my parents piss me off, I'll go sit in my car and go listen to, you know, random mixtapes or something and just cry and stare at the window like an Adele music video. Like, that's fine. I'll just live at home. I had this one specific friend group in college. I almost want to call it like the Scooby-Doo mobile or like the ragtag group. Like, it made no sense. We all were like Raggedy Ann. I went to this one college. Another girl in the group went to the same college as me. And then another girl didn't go to any college. She studied movies. She stayed at home. And then the fourth one went to a college, but not our college. She was at like community college. We were at like another college. Okay, that was the group. Went out every single weekend. That's not the premise of the story, but damn, we knew how to drink. Liver. Don't think I have one of those anymore. Anyways, so the girl, I ended up becoming very close with the one girl that ended up going to the same college as me because, girl, I'm gonna see you on campus. We go to the bars every single weekend, like in that group, even the people that didn't go to that college. But like when I would commute to college and like sometimes I'd be coming home and I'm like, I don't feel like waiting. She lived on her own, but by lived on her own, like she had a house in the college area and she lived with roommates. Okay. So sometimes after class, she'd be like, bitch, like come over, like come play like freeze tag or like patty cake. And I'm like, you know what? Freedom! It's either go play patty cake or go home and cry. I might as well cry while playing patty cake. Anyway, so I get there one time and I ended up by default, because I would go to her house all the time for like pre-games and stuff. I ended up becoming like, not super close, but like friends like with her roommates, okay? Her roommates were cool as hell, love them, whatever. Anyways, to set the scene, I remember it's one day vividly after school and it's a really like nice day outside and we're texting the group chat like, oh my gosh, like sun in the fun, like we're having like a ball, right? But I'm not having a ball because I'm crying because I'm failing calculus class. Anyways, we're texting our group chat and the one girl, I gotta give these people, I'm gonna call her college twin for right now because we went to the same college, okay? So college twin proceeds to text and she was like, hey, like, do you want to come over? Like, it's nice outside. We can sit outside and like eat sandwiches. That seems wholesome. Anyways, I literally get in my car in the school parking garage. I blink, I'm outside of her house, right? Who's ready to rumble? Who's ready to rumble? And I'm walking inside. I'm like, hey, y'all, make some noise for me. Keep my, like, the room. God bless. I think they were studying when I walked in. I literally walk in with, like, one eyebrow dangling off and just being like, hey, guys, let's go outside. We end up sitting outside, okay? And keep in mind, I pregame at this house every single weekend. So, like, I know the layout. I know the roommates. And I know most of, like, the roommates' friends because obviously the roommates' friends would come to the pregames. So we're outside, like, talking. And she's like, oh, my gosh, I need to tell you, like, what the fuck happened. Like, she's basically talking to, like, college twin, my close friend, right? And she's like, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you what happened with, let's call her Flip-Flop, because I'm making intense eye contact with Flip-Flops. Okay, so her name's Flip-Flop. I've met Flip-Flop before. She's really sweet. I probably met her, like, 2 times, like, at pre-games. I don't think, she didn't go to the college. She was, like, a little bit older. I think she graduated, like, that year or something. She was, like, in the real world, okay? So she was like, I forgot to tell you what happened with Flip-Flop. And I remember I met Flip-Flop maybe, like, once or twice. And I was like, and she was like, oh, no, Dylan, I gotta tell you what the fuck happened, too. This shit's insane. All right, for now, we're gonna like switch the story up. Now this is like their rendition of what the fuck. So flip-flop, once again, I want to say we're at this age, maybe 22, 21, like gonna be 22 soon, okay? And she's like, I gotta tell you what happened flip-flop. Let's say 20, like flip-flop is 23, okay? Flip-flop at this point, I want to say is like 23. She graduated college, or maybe didn't graduate college. I don't know. She was in the real world. She was exploring around, okay? And at this point, she was like, you know, in the real world, career, whatever. She had this one job. I forget what the job was, but it was like a more like executive, like not executive, but like it was like an office job. So she starts her job, right? And I'm pretty sure she got her job like normally off like LinkedIn or something like that. She gets the job. She's going to it. She like soon becomes very close with like the bosses, right? The bosses love her. It's like, it's not like a corporate job, but it's like an office job, but also kind of like a family like vibe. I don't know. Everyone's kind of like interconnected. Don't ask me. I have an office job right now and everyone kind of acts like a family. Feels like a family that went through a divorce. Psych. But anyways, so it's like an office job vibe. She comes very close with the boss. And basically it gets to a point because this job is kind of far away from where she, like, let's say it's about like 30 minutes away from where she lives. It's like deep, like in the city where like the major city near me. So I remember like one day, I think her and the boss are talking, they're just like chit chatting, and she's like, yeah, like I'm thinking about moving out from like my parents' house soon. Like I need to like lock in. And the boss kind of looks with like twinkly eyes and he said, hold on, I got a proposition for you. He basically is like, well, my son, like I'm trying to get him to move out too. Would you want to be roommates like with my son? Okay. This is a girl, this is a boy becoming roommates. It's 2026. Y'all can be roommates without kissing and holding hands and dry humping, right? So she's like, you know what? Hell yeah. And she's like seen him in the office before too. Like he doesn't work there, but he's like obviously come in. He's like a nepo baby, whatever the fuck. And she's like, yeah, like whatever. And basically he was like, at first I remember she was kind of like, oh, like I don't know if I should. And he was like, I'm gonna pay for like the apartment. Like I'll put you guys in a nice apartment. Like just I need him out the fucking house. So she's like, you know what? Free apartment. Yeah, all right. Anyways, they end up like signing all the paperwork. They have an apartment together, okay? And she like didn't really know him like that in the beginning. Like he was nice, but like just kind of quiet, like stayed to himself. Once again, she had a boyfriend too, so like it wasn't like that situation. She had a boyfriend, he had a girlfriend, okay. And both significant others were like okay with this situation because once again they were just roommates, strictly roommates, okay? Anyways, I want to say the first like month or two was like relaxing. I mean, he was just kind of quiet, okay? And then randomly like it started progressing a little. Like it'd be like late at night and she would hear like sawing noises and like bangs. Okay. And once again, they didn't really talk that much. Like they would say like hi in the mornings and stuff like that, but like it would just be very sporadic, right? Like sometimes like 4 a.m, she'd be hearing like bangs and like chewing and like rattling noises. She's like, all right. Are we playing like an audio recording or is this the San Diego Zoo next to me? She had no clue, okay? And then after that, I want to say like a week after that, she like got home and basically like one of her friends like left a sweatshirt at her house. She's looking for the sweatshirt. She remembers she put it on the bed. It wasn't there. Okay. And like 2 days later, she's like looking for like a pair of like shoes. She's like, where the fuck are my shoes? Where are my shoes? Can't find her favorite pair of shoes. Okay, that's weird. She knew she had them. The shoes aren't there. She's starting to text her friends like, where the fuck are my shoes? Where are my... None of them responded. Okay. Then it's getting to a point she's like going like through her closet. I think she had like a pair of like socks. She started like losing socks like very, very quick. Like socks were just missing like nonstop. And she's like, what the actual fuck? And she's like texting her friends like, if you're taking my socks, like, come on, don't be shy. I get these pit bulls need to be covered up. Like, be honest. Like, are you taking socks? No. Everyone's saying she's like actually starting to like beef with like some of her friends because she's like, you were just at my house and like now my socks are missing. Like, bitch, like you are the sock thief. You're fighting for their lives. Like, I'm not the hashtag slasher. Like, stop. So then it gets to a point. I remember, I think like her last, like one of her last straws, like she ends up like coming back and like she's looking for like a set of lingerie or like it was underwear, but like a bralette set, something like that. And it was missing. And she was like, I literally just fucking bought this. Where the fuck is it? Because she like wore it like, I want to say like 2 nights before, and she like put it in the hamper and she's like looking in the hamper like she's about to do her laundry and it's not fucking in there. She's like, what the actual fuck? What the hell? So then it gets to a point and she's like, okay, I don't want to, like, it's a weird situation. Like her boss, his son, like it's her employer. So I think she like ends up going to her boss and she's like, yeah, like I don't want to, but like stuff's like missing. None of my friends are taking it. Like, I don't know. They're like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, sweetie. So like, I think she ends up asking him and he's like, no, like why the fuck? Like I'm a grown man. Why would I be taking your... She's like, okay. Like once again, he's just being very like weird, very odd. Like he's starting to become his true form. Anyway, she starts locking her door, okay? That's what she starts doing. She starts like deadbolting it. She bought like a lock, like for her fucking mirror. She's locking it. She's still coming back. Stuff's still like missing. And it's just random ass shit. It's like socks, underwear, sweatshirts, random ass. She's like, okay, it's either like paranormal activity or the activity's to the right of me. What the fuck? She keeps asking her boss. She's like, I feel like he's like taking my stuff. Like, can I like go through his room? They're like, no, like you're like... She's like, I just like, I'm going insane, right? Because like my stuff is missing. My friends, I don't think they're taking it. Maybe they are. Whatever. One day she ends up getting home one day and he's not there. Okay. He's missing. At this point, like they're not talking at all. Like they're really not. And she just gets an urge and she's like, he's not here right now. I need to go check. Like I need to go through. his door's locked. So his door's locked. I forget how she even did it. I don't know if she did some type of like ritualistic thing or like some type of technique cards. Anyway, she ends up like prying open the door, okay? She pries open the door. At first, like, nothing, everything's like, it's like a man's room, okay? Finally, she's like rummaging, and in the closet, in the back of the closet, there's a trash bag. There's a big trash bag, and she's like, okay, what the fuck? Baby, she opened that trash bag, and ooh, chamber of secrets. There are, like, at least 10 pairs of her underwear, her bra, sweatshirts, shirts, socks, and her, like, her underwear all had, like, holes, like, in, like, the butt area. Like, cut holes. Like, the bras had, like, holes where, like, would be. And that's not the scariest part. She's still going through it. There's tampons and her used tampons were in there, like from the trash in the bathroom. Used in the trash bag that he collected. He collected. But it was part 2 because it doesn't end there. It does not end there. Part 2 and why I will never have a roommate. Where we left off, we have Flip Flop, the main character in this horror film, right? Sinister 12, 140,000. Flip Flop's missing all of her clothes 24/7. She's doing an investigation. She's interviewing her friends. She's beefing out with her friends. Like, I know you took my favorite sock. And they're like, bitch, get somebody else to do it. Like, no. Anyways, her roommate, that's her boss's son, who's been a little out of control, you know, banging around late at night, whatever. She just went into his room when he's not there, and there's a trash bag, a little collection of everything she's ever fucking owned. And like, I'm like trying to think back on it, like it wasn't just clothing materials too, like it was other like weird ass, like there was like a picture frame that was like missing from her room with like her and her best friend, like that was in the fucking pot, like oh, it was just a cauldron that the police need to handle. 911 cauldron, because what the her like one of her pillowcases was in there too, and like the most important part, like used and like that she disposed of, that one man's trash is another man's treasure. Sir, one man's trash is another man's knuckle sandwich, because I'm telling you right now, bitch, it'd be a fucking slam. Anyways, so she's looking at that and she's like fucking more, like she's about to throw up. She's so fucking scared because once again, imagine she's been living with him. I think at this point it's been like 6 months. 6 months. Like there's stuff in there that she didn't even know she was missing, type of shit. Like it was just like, she was like, what the actual, she's nauseous, she's scared, and like she's also afraid like if he comes home and he sees that she found, like what the fuck's gonna happen. And there's so many thoughts through her head because she's like, how the fuck, he has a long-term girlfriend too, keep in mind, a long-term fucking girlfriend. So it's like, did the girlfriend does she not know about this hobby, or like is she in it and like she's like taking a cut of like the socks with holes in it? Like what kind of like trades going on? She ends up like leaving it there because keep in mind, like a lot of it's destroyed too, like it's like cut up, like you can't wear it anymore, it's expensive. Like Victoria's Secret, bitch, come on. She ends up literally sprinting out of the apartment. Like she sprints out of the apartment, she ends up calling her boyfriend, she's freaking the fuck out, like hyperventilating, like I don't know what the fuck to do. You remember that lingerie set you wanted me to wear? Yeah, it's in his pantry, cut up, right? Boyfriend's obviously like, what the fuck, like it's just not safe to live there, it's not safe to live there, like you need to like contact his parents. Keep in mind, he's the same age, like he's like 23, 24. Grown man, right? Grown Dateline episode. Anyways, she ends up calling the boss, right? She's like, hey, boss. And he's like, oh, are you like calling out tomorrow? And she's like, no, like I'm probably going to call out permanently. I'm calling out from this apartment. This is what your son's been doing. They explain it all to them. They're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. Like, we're so disappointed. Like, he really needs help. They're like, okay, like, we're going to reach out to him. And she's like, well, I don't like know what to do because all my shit's in there. Like, I'm afraid if you alert him, like, I don't know. Anyways, I guess they worked out something. Like, they were like, okay, like, we're going to call him, like, we're gonna call him in a second, like try to get some of your shit out of there, like we're gonna call him. Anyway, she ends up getting like a little bit of shit out of there, end up calling him. Apparently he freaks the absolute fuck out, like freaks out on the parents, like why the fuck is she going through my room, like what the fuck, like blah blah blah, why do you have a bucket of biohazards? Like but he's mad as hell, right? And you know, people like that, you know, they tend to get a little bit angry, right? So he's like yelling, he's like, why the fuck did she go through my room? They're like, son, like she could press charges, you know, you could be in jail for, you know, the next Dateline episode. Come on, relax. He's just like angry as hell, like very, very, very angry. She leaves the apartment at this point. I guess he ends up like coming back to the, keep in mind, she needs somewhere to stay because she already moved out of her family's house. She's got her stuff there. It's like a situation. She basically asked the boss, she's like, is there any way like you could like take his key, like so he can't come in, like so I can stay here like until I get my shit out. Basically they're like, yeah, like we're gonna take the key, but like he might have like a spare key. Like it was like a weird ass situation. She's like, okay, well I need to go to the apartment, I need to get my stuff out, or like he needs to like be sent somewhere, like something needs to fucking, I think she stayed away from the apartment for like 2 days and then confirmed that he like wasn't there, like he was somewhere else, like reached out to the boss or something along the lines of that. She ended up coming back to the apartment. Round 2. to like I guess grab more of her stuff. Like she's just feeling unsafe as fuck at this point, like really unsafe. But then again, like she doesn't really have much to go. Like yes, she has family that lives like 30 minutes away, but like she already moved out. Like she didn't want to go back to her parents. So I think she ended up like staying for like another like 2 weeks or so, which is fucking beyond me, girl. Because baby, he mapped the entire layout. He mapped the layout of your sweatshirts and poked holes, baby. But basically, I remember when she ended up going back, she like rummaged through his room a little bit more, and like it was just more like I think there was another trash bag filled with shit, and like that's just so like I can't, because it's like yes, she knew she was missing shit, but like the amount of shit, and it's just like it was just like so much underwear, so many like but it was like also just like memorabilia. It was just so fucking creepy. Like it was like I still can't get over. But like I remember like he also had like some of her trash. Like she like went to like Chick-fil-A, like, and he never ate Chick-fil-A, and like her Chick-fil-A bag was like in one of his like duffel bag. Like I don't know what kind of like DNA residue, like I don't know, maybe if somebody crazy can comment and be like what that does for the population. Like is he studying like the my pleasureness of the Chick-fil-A? I don't know, right? I really don't know. But like it was like used like Chick-fil-A wrapper, and like it like had, you know, the mobile order one has her name, like it had her name on it, like just like some of her like fucking trash in there. Like it then also went as far as she saw like toenail clippings in there too. Don't know if they were hers or not. She didn't do a DNA swab, but she did clip her nails through that and put them in the trash can, which she didn't know that that was somebody's treasure that they were going to be rummaging through, and you find out the fingernail length. But like basically there was just two, like she found another trash bag filled with her shit, and it was just once again her trash stuff that she's used, like just I can't. And keep in mind, like her and this like man, like they were friendly with each other. Like once again, they weren't close by any means, but like that was her boss's like she was gonna be nice, and like they would say hi to each other, like had a whole girlfriend. Like that's the gag too, like a full long term, like she's met the girlfriend, and like said like the girlfriend was like slightly off too, but like she didn't know if the girlfriend was in on the operation too. Like I don't know if she was like supposed to like take the toilet paper and he was supposed to take the Chick-fil-A wrapper. Like I don't know if they had a little like tie going. I don't know, but she stayed there for like another like 2 weeks, and like under the premise that he would not fucking come back. And once again, like the last she heard, like he was like raging out, like why the fuck would she like why would she take back her own trash? Like crazy. Another one, sorry, he took one of her toothbrushes and a hairbrush too. Forgot about that too. She was missing. My private story would have been absolutely insane that day. Like I would have propped out a camera and been like, do like an unboxing haul of like shit like a sociopath took for me. Like I can't. But yeah, after the 2 weeks, I think she like went to her boss too and was like this isn't right, like this isn't okay. And I think like the boss and like the boss's wife, like they understood obviously like that's fucking insane, but they weren't doing as much as they should have. Like they like apologized to her, but they were like, yeah, like there's not much we can do, like sorry, good luck, Charlie, like do you want to stay at the apartment or not, like figure it out. And she was like, okay. Like once again, it was the apartment she wasn't really paying for, like they were covering the whole apartment. So she was like, okay, like I don't feel safe here, because it's either like a free apartment, like turn up, but like I might turn up like in hell. Like literally, because I might, you know, be perishing soon, right? I think she ended up like moving out. I think she ended up leaving the job too, because once again, like the boss like wasn't really taking her that serious. Like they were like, yeah, whatever, but like he was denying it like shit to like the parents, and she was like, this is the proof, and like sent pictures and everything, and they were just like like just snooze you lose, like you had a free apartment and like there's a pool outside, like figure it out. Also another story that I think I remember, I think there was like scrap pieces of paper too of like him writing hieroglyphics. I think that added to the case too. She wasn't able to identify what the hieroglyphics, but I think she was going to become a hieroglyphic if she stayed there longer. So I'm glad she got out of there. But after hearing that story, baby, the only roommates that I want are dust bunnies. That's what I fucking want. The ones in my fridge, because I got no food in there, I'll keep those roommates. My roommate can be my carpet, my closet, and my kitchen, right? Like those are my roommates. That's all I will fucking. It's just so, and it's just like, even I've heard stories of like people that people know, like they're like close friends, and like they turn out to be fucking weird. Like it's too scary to me. I'm not risking it. And like this story especially is just so fucking scary, because it's like, okay, like obviously it was a weirder like a situation that doesn't normally happen, but I feel like once again it is common for people to live with people they don't really know. You know, there's like Craigslist, different like websites and stuff, like, oh, Facebook, you want to become roommates, let's link up. But you never truly like know somebody until you fucking live with them, and it's like it just scares the shit out of me, because it's like if she did not find that, like if she didn't really like become in tune with everything and be like, okay, like I'm losing stuff, I need to go see if like this freak that like bangs around at like 4 a.m. is up to no good. And she ended up walking into the fucking room and there's just trash bags of her wrapper. Like I still can't get, I'm sorry, I still can't get over. But yeah, friend of a friend, if you're seeing this, girl, I hope you're doing okay right now. I have not spoken to you. I haven't even talked to like the roommate in a while. You guys are the reason why I'm going to be spending a pretty penny when I move out, because my roommate's going to be my comforter. I will not live in fear of my own motherfucking like I will not walk to my kitchen and potentially be unalived while trying to make a frozen lean cuisine. Like it's just not gonna fucking happen. And it's just so scary to think back on, like, because once again, I'm just retelling this story, but like if she never found any of that, Like, that's the progression there. Like, if she never found that, like, what was going to be the next step? Like, makes me sick. It makes me sick. It makes me sick. But yeah, if anybody has any comments or concerns, or people that, you know, specializes in scary studies and knows what this possibly could have meant, like what he was doing, like, I'm still like, I get like people just are stuck, but it's like the use in like stealing her clothes. And I get, okay, maybe you're playing dress to impress in your room, not cool at all, like that's, but like you're cutting holes in certain areas. What does that mean? Anyways, I'm signing off now though. But stay blessed, y'all. And if you have a roommate, I want you to go interrogate them right now after this video. I'm not playing. And make sure you have your toothbrush and your hairbrush. It could be seized.
Story time on how I found out my ex fucked his sister. P.S. This girl's a popular makeup creator. Some of you guys are mutuals with her. Let's call this dude Ed. Me and Ed dated for about a year, and during that whole relationship, I was literally tortured, manipulated, abused. It was so weird. This guy was like a weird anime guy, and if you don't know me in fucking real life, I'm short and I'm fucking skinny. He would call me fucking lolly, you know what I mean, those fucking weird little girls. So you already know how he was, and the whole relationship was toxic. I was trying so bad to get out, but also trying to get out without having him like himself, like, because he would try to do it for any fucking reason. I had to call his mom several times telling her, oh, he went out and popped this, he went out and did this, he went out and did this. So you already know what type of relationship that was. Been with him for a year, broke up, I was freed. Okay, I'm free. Okay, so we broke up, and my dumbass literally leaps into a relationship like months after. Like, I get into another relationship after. And with this dude, like, whatever. It was whatever. I wasn't ready. I didn't really like him. I cheated on him with my ex that abused me. Like, not cheated, but this guy, like, there's no excuse, but I just hung out with my ex while I was currently dating someone else. Let him know I broke it up, and I was like, sorry, I'm just not ready to be in a relationship, blah, blah, blah. Like, I obviously don't like you. Like, this ain't for me. Whatever. That is another story time. Like, trust me. Like, oh my God. To get back at me, dude I'm dating or just cheated on, he goes and tries to get with my ex's sister. Let's call the sister Y, because why the hell did you get involved in something that doesn't involve you? But anyways, maybe it does, because maybe it does because of this next statement. But yeah, the ex I cheated on, I forgot the nickname I made for him, but whatever. He comes and tells me, like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for how I reacted. I'm sorry for this and that. Like, I didn't really know what you were going through with him. Like, I didn't really know he was that bad of a person. And I'm like, well, yeah, like, I told you, damn, it looks scary. I was like, well, yeah, I told you everything. Like, yeah, he's that bad of a person. And, like, it kind of makes me salty, too, because, like, when I tell you about something and you don't believe me, but then the next bitch does and tells you the same thing happened to her, oh, now you believe? Okay, should just believe me the first time. But hold on. He tells me all that, and he's like, it's because Y was sitting down with me and telling me I feel bad for Jasmine. That's me, I'm Jasmine. He's like, why? And the sister is like, well, because their whole relationship, he was doing stuff with me. Yeah. So I found that shit out, and immediately, I didn't talk to any of them. I blocked everyone, and I moved on with my life. But like 5-6 years passed. And on like the 4th year, maybe, so I would say 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago almost, about why his boyfriend died. So yeah, I found that out, and honestly, that shit is sad regardless on who it is. It's sad no matter what. I've been with my boyfriend going on 4 years now in August, and I could never imagine experiencing that type of pain. So I messaged Y and let her know my condolences, and she blocks me. not only on the account I texted her on, which was on Instagram, one of my Instagram accounts, she blocks me on everything, including all my TikToks. And I'm like, girl, move on, grow up. Like, your brother was weird to both of us. If you're not going to be a girl's girl, then I don't know what to tell you. If you're going to support rapists, then I don't know what to tell you. It took me a while to come up with this story, and there's a lot of details that I left out just for the sake of people's, status, social status. But I don't care. If you don't care, I don't care.
Okay, guys, I have the craziest friendship experience story time that I just, have been holding for years, and it just came to my attention that this is, happening to more people from these people. So now I'm just okay, it's my time. I'm obviously not going to say names or anything. I'm just going to call them Thing 1, Thing 2. They're twin sisters. That's pretty much all you need to know to put the pieces together here. But, have you guys been friends with, people that just, lie about, anything and everything? Well, yeah, and now take that, times it by 1,000,000. Think pretends they have cancer level. Yeah. And I'm not going to talk about other people's experiences necessarily, but let's just say they've done things like this before. And there's so many red flags, and honestly, I feel so stupid because I was just trying to see the good in them. They seemed super nice people when I met them, and I just should have known. Anyways, so start off with them lying about random stuff. They graduated early, they went to McGill, and their mom is the head of cancer care, and this and that, all these things that are easy enough to fact check and see that is not true, obviously. But this is where it really happened and became personal and actually affected me emotionally. So we booked a trip to Calgary Stampede. We'd only been friends for probably 2 or 3 months at this point. But we're they're down for things, I'm down for things, let's book this trip. And there's 5 of us going, so it's me, my friend, them 2, and their friend. And the hard part about it is because unless you experienced it personally, you will never understand this truly. But now that I know other people have experienced it firsthand, it makes me feel I can actually share this and not feel crazy. So pretty much the very first night that we get to Stampede, one of them is in the room with us, one of them is in a different room getting ready, and the one in the room with us just starts crying and saying how she pretty much is gonna die, and she has lung cancer and is on a lung transplant list, and that she's been in and out of the hospital for the last month or something without us knowing. And first of all, these girls are the biggest attention seekers ever. If there was actually something happening where they had to go to the hospital, they would be telling everybody and anybody about it. So I already know this isn't true. Plus, if you're on a lung transplant list, you are not at Calgary Stampede drinking and partying. Never mind smoking or anything like that. So anyways, I'm not believing it, my friend's not believing it. We're kind of laughing about it because not to be mean or anything, but we're just we don't believe you. And a little background how this makes this personal to me. This summer my grandpa had actually been dying of cancer the entire summer and passed away actually a month after this happened. But yeah, I was watching him die all summer, so talking about cancer and making a lie about it is just something that's so wrong in so many ways, but it was just especially personal to me. And my other grandpa died when I was younger from lung cancer, and we found out he had lung cancer because he collapsed. And so I kind of bring this up, I'm girl, you don't have lung cancer, you're definitely not on a lung transplant list, because if you actually did, you wouldn't be here, and you wouldn't be able to party, because my grandpa collapsed when he had lung cancer because he couldn't breathe, this and that. So keep in mind that I did share this story with them. So I couldn't be around them anymore, so I let Thing 1 go out alone, and Thing 2 stayed with us, and me and my friend were kind of talking to her girl, is this for real? Because there's always 2 of them together, we rarely have one of them separate. And she's kind of telling us yeah, she kind of lies a lot, and she is kind of a problem, and she hurts a lot of our friendship. And so her own sister is telling us this girl does lie, and I just get dragged into it. And then later that night, we get a call from the friend that went with Thing 1, and it was guys, you have to come to the staircase right now. There's an emergency. We run into the staircase, and there is Thing 1 laid out, passed out, in the stairwell, pretending that she's unconscious. And I asked the friend, how much did she have to drink? Because, that was, where my mind went first, was, oh, maybe she drank too much, and this is, whatever. But she's she didn't really drink much. So I'm okay, maybe she got roofied or something. So regardless, I was we're gonna call 911, okay? So I'm boop, boop, okay, I'm calling. And then she, magically awakens and it's like, oh, I'm alive. Super dramatic, may I add. And she's like, my lung, like, I need my medicine. And her sister goes and grabs the bronchitis puffer that they had from when they had bronchitis, like, a week earlier, that they were still both having, like, they were both coughing, like, weird. Which they were trying to play it off as, like, the lung cancer, but it was because they have bronchitis. Anyways, so then I, like, put all of the pieces together. And I was like, oh my god, she's trying to pretend, like, to pass out to try and make this more believable. That, like, because this is what happened to my grandpa when he found out he had lung cancer. And that's when I was like, these people are evil. Okay, well, safe to say I was not friends with them after that experience, and they kind of apologized after for other things, but not for that specific thing. But yeah, the rest of Stampede was horrible. It was just not good. To this day, it was like the biggest waste of my money and time that I've ever had in my life. But whatever. So I got back home and I wrote out this entire notes thing, which I'm sure I could probably find somewhere still. It had all the receipts of, like, everything, all their lies, everything they've ever said, like, everything. And at the end, because I was like, okay, I honestly think that someone should just tell them these things, because if I was this psychotic and delusional, I would want someone to just tell me. And at the very end, I said, if I hear anything about me come out of your mouths, I will make sure this was, like, spread around. Like, people will hear about this. And the only reason I said that is because every close friend they've ever had in the past, they have spread the craziest, weirdest, like, actually horrible lies about. Like, very controversial. Which I'm not going to get into, and, like, that, I respect those people a lot because they really went through it. And obviously all that part of it was taken out if I were to share it with anybody. But whatever, I sent it to them. Never heard anything back again. Honestly, never really saw them again. A week later, I hear, oh, actually, we stopped being friends with her because she just got super jealous of us at Stampede because we're getting all the male attention over her. And I just, like, couldn't help but laugh because I was like, you couldn't have thought of anything else, like, anything, like, maybe believable. So after that, I was like, you know what? Screw it. And I, like, made a private story with a bunch of, like, my close girlfriends. And I was like, here you go, guys. Eat this up. And honestly, it was like a PSA to, like, my close friends. Like, do not fall for this trap of a friendship because it's not worth it. Well, last weekend, it's been, like, years. And I'm, like, completely over it now. But these two people came up and they're like, hey, so you're friends with the twins, right? And I was like, I haven't heard this in forever. But I was like, yeah, actually, I was. They're like, well, you wouldn't believe what happened to us. And I was like, baby girl, let me believe you. Whatever you say, I already believe you. And almost word for word, what they did to me, they did to them. Including, like, pretending cancer. Like, I don't think they had it this time, but, like, their mom did or something. Just bizarre. Like, crazy. So, needless to say, we're going to start, like, a little trauma support group over this because seriously, like, this is nuts. But yeah, if this also happened to you, like, let's all be friends and let's get drinks and talk about this because what the heck. Anyways, peace and love, guys. That's just, like, I can't believe I'm bringing this up after all this time. But, like, I actually just, like, I think it's the funniest thing. They've not learned their lesson at all. So, whatever. Bye.
Story time about the girl who asked my husband what it would take for him to forget that he was married to me right in front of me. Backstory, my husband is in a metalcore band called Within Me. The guys practice on Friday nights at the bass player's house. The bass player has a female friend that I have met on 2 occasions at previous shows. One of those shows, she was really intoxicated and not very nice. The second show, she was sober and, like, we didn't really talk much. So that is my only experience with this girl until a week ago on Friday at band practice. That one time at band camp, that one time at band practice. So to make this a little more interesting, the girl that is friends with the bass player is also married with a child to somebody else. She is not with the bass player, to be very clear. Her husband is actually the bass player's best friend. Oop! Anyway, the second we arrived, I knew she was wasted. It was just me and her as the only women there and the band players. It's a very chill practice get together and she was already waist deep in Tito's, okay? So I'm rolling in with my crispy Coke from McDonald's and a snack wrap and she is trying to funnel alcohol down my throat. And I was like, sis, no. But while the guys are setting up to practice, we're sitting next to each other and she starts to try and small talk with me a little bit. And I was like, okay, fine, like whatever. But then she starts referring to me as my husband's girlfriend and like kept saying it. And I was like, no, like we're married like 6 years this year, very married. And she's like, well, I refuse to accept that. I didn't know that was an option. What do you mean you refuse to accept that? It was like the weirdest thing someone could have said. I was just like, okay, girl. As weird as that comment was, I just like wrote it off. And then she addresses my husband directly across the room. And she was like, Dylan, did you do your hair different? Like, I've never seen it like that before. And I really like it. Like in that like drunk girl voice. And my husband's looking like, no, what? And she's like, I don't know. I really like it like that. I've never seen it like that. And he's like, I don't have a hat on today. Like, what? And I'm just looking at her like, yeah, he does look good, huh? Because I'm a little bit of a menace. Practice finishes, they run their set, we go upstairs, we're all hanging out in the kitchen. And like I said before, this is low key, nobody's getting wasted except for her. And we're all just talking. And then she comes over to me and does that thing that girls do where they just like hang on you like when they're drunk. They're like, oh my God, like you're my best friend. And it was at this point that she stops the room. It is just me and her as the only females and like the 4 other guys, okay? And she announces to the room that she has a question. And I was like, oh my God, okay, go off. And then she addresses my husband again across the room and goes, Dylan. Dylan, what would it take for you to forget that you're married? It actually took me a second to process it. I was like, I don't know if I laughed because I was like, was that real? Like what? I've never been in a situation like that. And then I look around at the guys in the room and they're going, what? Then I clocked it and I was like, oh, that was a real question. Oh, okay. And my husband, his response didn't even stutter. He goes, dementia? Like a literal cognitive disorder, like is what would cause me to forget that I was married, if that. She kind of laughed it off and like giggled, and I guess she thought she was cute. But at this point, the flags are up, the sirens are going, and I'm like, I don't vibe with this at all. I start to kind of start keeping to myself, and some more time goes by. He comes back over to me at another point and does the freaking thing. And at this point, she starts telling me how she has no girlfriends. Like, she just wants to have a girlfriend. And I just think it's funny. Anytime I've heard that in my life, there's always a reason that that woman does not have female friends. I have been so blessed to be surrounded by a group of female friends for most of my life. And we talk every day, and not a single one of them has ever made those comments about anyone I've been with, especially my husband. So there's really no excuse, like, to me. So as she's telling me that, then she stops the room a second time. I have another question. What started as me like kind of like being open to like listening to her talk quickly became me being like, you do? Are you sure? Kind of like looking at her like that, like, let's make better choices this time. But she didn't. She then was 2 inches from my face. How interested are you in your husband? To which I said, very. How interested in my husband are you? I was so like serious and like pissed off at that point because I'm like, how bold, like the audacity. I don't know anybody who would even joke about that unless you were serious somewhere in your little brain. So then I see all the guys going, oh my God, like no, like Kelsey's gonna swing, which I am a peace girl, peace and love, but I have never felt the urge to be like, bitch, what? So once I said, how interested in my husband are you? She was like, oh my God, like, fuck all of you guys, like, nah. And she went in the other room and stayed put for like 5 minutes. When she reemerged from her cave of chaos, she came back to the kitchen, and I removed myself at that point and went to a different room and sat on the couch, to which she promptly came in and sat next to me on the couch and had the audacity to put her head on my shoulder. I don't know you like that. And you've also just insulted the fuck out of me and disrespected me and my husband. So what are we doing? So she starts saying things like, I just refuse to accept that you're married. I don't know if it's just because you're so much younger than me. 2 years, mind you, we're only 2 years younger than her. And she's like, I want what you have. I just wish I had what you have. And girl, if something's going on in your life and this is just a projection, I understand that, but the way you're doing it is so wrong. The disrespect, the audacity, the lion, the witch, the audacity of this bitch. I very clearly said, yes, well, we are very happily married and invested in each other, and you're married, right? And she responded, we're not going to talk about that right now. And I was like, shouldn't we? It was at that point that one of the guys from the kitchen saw the irritability on my face and was like, shit, I think we need to like break that up. So he called her away from me, and that was the end of it. The bass player then took her and put her in timeout and gave her a water bottle. Ugh, just messy, so messy. That is like most of the story there. There's some other elements that I don't really think are relevant right now, but I'm gonna see her again tonight. I'm assuming, because she is always with the bass player. It's a strange dynamic that I'm not going to claim to understand because it's not my business, but she should be there tonight, and I don't know what to expect. If anything is said, what will it be, or will there be no memory of this? Who knows? All I know is that we will not be friends. So that's the tea. I'll let you know if anything is said or if anything happens. If you were one of the girlies in the comments like, bitch, when and where? That made me laugh, and it made me feel super validated and supported. I genuinely am a girl's girl, and I feel like all of you are too. So a situation like this really rattled me because I could never fathom saying or doing, thinking any of that towards somebody else. Thanks for being the real ones. And thanks for listening to this whole story time if you're still here. I somehow got this all condensed into 10 minutes. So if you're still here and you enjoyed the tea, let me know. I'll probably never do another story time again because I don't have stuff like this happen to me. I'm drinking another toxic espresso because it was so good. Thanks so much. I love you. If you have questions, feel free to ask and we can talk about it in the comments. I love you all so much. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Get ready with me as I tell you about the time when my dad and stepmom canceled mine and my little brother's tickets to come home from Utah for Christmas last year. So last January, my little brother and I were flying out to Utah to see my dad and my stepmom and my step siblings and my biological sister. But at the time, we didn't have the money to buy our own tickets, so our dad and stepmom were like, we'll buy them for you guys, it'll be, we just want to see you, blah 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 blah. So they buy us the tickets. We're coming out in January instead of December just because of mine and my brother's work schedule. That's when it worked out. So we get there, we're super excited to see everybody, and so my dad and stepmom and that side of the family, they're all Mormon and go to church and practice their religion and stick to it pretty well. So my dad is telling us of all these house rules, and we have a curfew and all this, no swearing in the house, because it would be a bad example to our siblings. I forgot to mention that another reason why we were coming out at this time was because my youngest brother was getting ordained to the priesthood, so that was a big deal, and our stepmom was oh, it would be so nice if you guys could come for this, and we're okay, whatever, we'll come, we'll go, but me and my little brother and my older sister were we don't practice the religion anymore, we'll still go and support our little brother, but we're not going to partake in the sacrament, we are not worthy of that. And we tell this to our dad, and our dad's whatever, just come, it'll just make everybody happy, blah 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 blah. So we go, it's time to get ready for church, and we didn't really bring church clothes because we don't go to church. And so my older sister is wearing, I'm pretty sure she's wearing probably leggings or jeans and a sweatshirt. I'm wearing jeans and a nice top because we don't go to church, so we don't have church clothes. So it's this huge deal. My stepmom's throwing a fit that we're not wearing church clothes, and we're well, we don't go to church we told our dad. And she was whatever. So we get to church, and we're sitting on the little the bench. So it's my my younger brother, me, our stepsister who's 13, I think, my older sister, and then I think my younger brother, my stepmom, my dad, and my stepmom's mom on this bench. And you know, we sit through sacrament, and it comes to the time where they're like passing like the bread and the water, and my brother like is on the end of the bench, or the pew I think they're called. So he's like the first one to take, and he like just passes it on to me. I pass it, you know, and then our 13-year-old sister also doesn't take the sacrament, but she's been like having a hard time. Like, she's 13, she's like, I don't know if I really believe in this religion, and like blah blah blah. And then she passes it to our older sister, who also doesn't partake in it. And then my stepmom, the look of you're fucking dead on her face. And so we know that we're in trouble when we get home. We know. Oh, and then I have another older stepsister, or younger, and she works graveyard. So her and her boyfriend were supposed to come to church, but like they got off work at like 6 a.m. or something, and church was at like 9 or 10, and so like they were tired, so they slept through their alarm. And we get back to my dad's house, and my stepmom calls like a family meeting with all the older siblings. Okay, I just realized I forgot a very, very important part. So we're at church, and my stepmom and her mother leave. Like, they go outside. They're pissed, you know, because how could we just disrespect the church and everything they believe in like that? But like we told our dad prior to going that like we weren't participating. Like we don't believe in the religion. Like, we'll go and we'll sit and we'll support our little brother, but like that's all you're gonna get from us. And my dad's like, it's like, as long as you go, like that's what will make your stepmom happy, and blah blah blah. So we're like, okay, whatever. So stepmom and her mom leave the chapel, and they go outside, and then they text our little sister, and they're like, come out to the car now. And we're like, shit, bro, like you're toast, you know. So she goes out to the car. She's out there for like 10-15 minutes. She comes back inside, and you can tell she'd been crying. Church is over now, you know, our little brother's been ordained to the priesthood, yada yada. We're about to go home, and my dad doesn't know where my stepmom's mom went. The bitch fucking, sorry, can I say that? She walked home because she was so upset that her grandchildren disrespected something that is so important to the family, and yada yada yada. So we're like, oh my gosh, like so dramatic. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we told you that we told you that we weren't going to participate because this is, gosh, my hair is a wreck. Anyways, it's hair wash day. But we told them that like we're not going to participate because this is something that like we don't believe in. So we get home, stepmom calls all the big kids to a meeting, sends our two younger siblings downstairs. Other stepsister and her boyfriend are here at this point. She starts ripping into us of how disrespectful we were, and yada yada yada, and the little ones look up to us, and like if somebody was bullying them in school, like how would we want them to like react to it, and what would we want them to do? And my little brother's like, well, I'd tell them not to talk to them. And our stepmom was like, so I should tell your siblings not to talk to you? And we're like, girl, like you are blowing this way out of proportion. Like, this is something that like we just don't believe in. We're not going, like, it would be unworthy of us to partake in the sacrament because like we do things that are against that religion, and like, you know. And then she starts going off of like, oh, then you were unholy by walking into the church and blah blah blah. And we're like, oh my gosh, like, lady. So my older sister recorded like the whole thing, and so the family meeting's finally over. We go to bed. My older sister leaves and drives home, and we did like, the next day my dad comes into my room downstairs and is like, just go apologize to Nana, who's my stepmom's mom, and yada yada yada. I was like, no, I'm not gonna apologize. Like, I did nothing wrong. Like, you know, like she's being dramatic. Like, I'm not going to apologize for standing up for what I believe in, you know. And so it's a whole mess. And my little brother, he was in a few weeks going off to boot camp for the Navy, and he is very hard-headed. He will speak his truth. So we go upstairs because my dad and stepmom want to talk to my brother and I again, and we're like, just like let it go. Like it doesn't matter at this point. Like people's feelings are hurt, whatever, get over it. Like you're what, like 40 something, 50 years old, like let it go. Like we are your children. Like, so we go upstairs and my stepmom and my little brother are like screaming at each other, like so bad. And I remember like I don't even know what they were screaming about the church thing and how disrespectful and yada yada yada. And so my stepmom says something of like, you disrespecting the church like that would be the same as me showing up to your boot camp graduation and setting the American flag on fire. And my little brother's like, no, it's not. Like, girl, you're crazy. Like church and like, it's not comparable. And so then my stepmom started screaming at my little brother to like get the F out of her house and that she won't stand this disrespect and blah, blah, blah. And like, I started crying because I hate screaming, like childhood trauma. So like I started crying, and then my stepmom's like, look what you're doing to your sister. Like you're making her cry because you're upsetting her. And I'm like, no, I'm mad because you won't let this go. Like literally just stop. It literally does not matter. And so my dad he's had a few heart attacks, and he like starts like having symptoms of a heart attack, and he's like, I need to go to the hospital. So I'm like, just go, like I'll stay here with the kids. And she's like, well, your brother needs to get the F out of my house, like I don't want him here when I come back, and yada yada. So I'm like, okay, like whatever. And thankfully my mom's side of the family lives in the town over, so we call our cousin. We're like, hey, can you please come pick us up, like it's bad, like we have to leave. And he's like, yeah, no problem, on my way, I'll be there in like 15 minutes. And while all this is going on, our younger stepsister and her boyfriend show up, and I'm gonna have to do a part 2 because this is where it gets crazy. Okay, here's part 2 to the time my dad and stepmom canceled my little brother's flights home from Utah to Washington. So younger stepsister and her boyfriend show up because they heard that like their mom like kicked us out of the house and screaming, and dad's going to the ER, blah blah blah. So they show up, and I go downstairs because our younger stepsister is hysterically crying in her room, like in the fetal position, sobbing. So I go over to her to like comfort her, and and she's like, I hate this, I hate that they do this, like I'm old enough to make my own decisions, and like it's not your guys' fault that I chose not to partake in the sacrament. Like I don't even know if I believe in the church and all this. And she's like, I just want to talk to Brady, who's my younger brother. And I was like, okay, let me go get him. So I go and get Brady, and he's like hugging her and like telling her it's okay, like it's not her fault. And then our stepmom's mom comes in the room and shoves my brother out of the way and is like, move, don't talk to her. And Brady like takes his stance and is like, no, like she asked for me. And then our Nana is like, well, shame on her, like you're a bad influence, blah blah blah. And then our younger sister starts yelling at her grandma and is like, I don't like you, I don't want you here, like I made my own decision. And Nana's like, you only made the decision because they're here, and if they weren't here, like you would have partaken in the sacrament and blah. Like it was a huge mess. So younger stepsister and her boyfriend show up, and she's screaming at our grandma and is like, get the F away from her, like I'm gonna call the cops on you, like you're abusing her, you're brainwashing her, like yada yada yada. So then Nana goes upstairs and calls our stepmom while she's at the hospital with our dad and tells her who knows what. Next thing we know, the cops are showing up. So I call my older sister who lives in Salt Lake, which is like 2 hours away. So I call her and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like our cousin's on the way to pick us up. Like we don't know what to do. Nana's screaming. Dad's in the emergency room because he thinks he's having a heart attack. The cops are here. And she's like, oh my gosh, like I'm at work. Let me see what I can do. So she like gets it approved to like get off work, and she drives down to come pick us up, but she's 2 hours away. So the cops show up, and the cops are like interviewing everyone. They interview our Nana, and like she just lies through her mouth, and like so bad. And then like the officer talks to my brother, talks to me, talks to the kids, and he talks to me and he was like, so she's kicking you out of the house because you didn't partake in the sacrament. And we're like, yes, exactly. And he's like, oh my gosh, like this is ridiculous. Like what better thing do I have to do in Utah on a Sunday, So he's like, unfortunately, like it is her home, like you guys do have to leave. And we're like, no problem, like we're gathering our things, our cousin's on the way, he'll be here in like 10 minutes. Our cousin and uncle show up, and all these cops are here. Like it looks like a freaking like crime scene. Like it was so bad. So we like get all of our stuff, we load it in the car, we leave with our cousin. We go to their house, and like our grandma from our mom's side like lives over there, and our aunt and uncle and our cousins. So like we go and talk to our grandma, who is also LDS and like practices their religion, and we talk to her, and she's like, no, like you guys are in the right, like you you're unworthy to take the sacrament, so like you were being respectful, like, you know, that's not how religion works. Like, you're there to support, you know, your little brother, like that's what you should have done. And we're like, exactly. So my sister shows up and like we're all upset and like yada yada. We get in our sister's car and we leave and we go up to her house, and our flight is supposed to leave in 2 days. So we're in Salt Lake, or near Salt Lake, and we're supposed to come back to Washington in 2 days. So we're just like hanging out with our older sister, like her friends come over, we're having a good time, whatever. It's the night before we're supposed to leave, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I just know they're gonna do something. I know they're gonna do something. So when you fly, like you can check in 24 hours early. So I go to check us in and it says our flight has been canceled. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, what is this benefiting? What is this benefiting by canceling our tickets and leaving us stranded in Utah? Like, who is this benefiting? So I'm freaking out. I call my mom, who's back here in Washington, and I'm crying. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And it's like 11 p.m. at this point. And I'm like, what do we do? Like, I'm so upset, like I don't know what to do. And she's like, give me the phone number for the airline and give me your flight information, I'll call them. And one thing about my mom is she will get to the bottom of it. So I give her the phone number, she calls, and she like got it in the system so that like only she like was able to fix it so the flight wasn't canceled, made it so that only my little brother and I could like change or alter the tickets. And it's like 2:00 in the morning at this point. Like, she was on hold for a very long time. So I go to sleep, and our uncle, who is our stepmom's brother, who also got disowned from the family for beliefs and whatever, does not like her, is taking us to the airport the next morning. So he comes, picks us up, we're driving to the airport, everything seems fine. The airline did switch us from one flight to a different flight so that like they couldn't change anything. We get to the airport, we get through security just fine. We get to our gate, we go to scan our ticket to get on the airplane to come home, flight's been canceled. And I'm like, what the actual heck? Like, why? And so I call my mom again. I'm like, they were able to cancel, like I don't know what happened. Like, now my mom's pissed. So I'm talking to like the flight attendant, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, like this is their situation. She's like, I'm sorry, but like the flight's been canceled, it's in your stepmom's name. And I explained to her, like, we called, we told them, like they told us that only my little brother and I could change the tickets, like what do we do? And she's like, I'm sorry, there's like, buy a new flight to go home. And we're like, really awesome. So mind you, like I have work the next day. My brother has to like go do paperwork to go to basic training. Like, we have lives. And so we're like, what do we do? And like my brother and I didn't have the money to buy plane tickets, especially leaving like that day or the next day. Like, we did not have the money for that. So we're like, what do we do? And like one of my mom's friends bought us tickets to come home. But my mom was like texting my dad and was like, what is the point of this? Why are you doing this? Like, it's not benefiting anybody. Like, you're a piece of crap and all this. And he was like, well, like, they need to learn from their own consequences that, like, stuff like this happens. And my mom's like, no, like, you don't cancel your children's plane tickets because they don't believe in the same religion you believe in. Like, right? Crazy. And, like, at this point, my dad, he was at the local emergency room, and they transferred him to, like, a higher hospital to, like, monitor him. And, like, at this point, like, our stepmom, like, takes the younger siblings' phones and, like, blocks all of our phone numbers. Like, we have no contact with them whatsoever. Nothing. We're not allowed to talk to them. And, like, it's just crazy. And, like, it is now September, and we have not spoke with them since January. And, like, my dad, after we got home, he, like, emailed us through his work email and was like, I'm really sorry, guys, like, I didn't know what to do, and yada yada, like, get this app. It was like Google Chat or something. He's like, get this app, and so that we can still talk, so that your stepmom doesn't know that, like, I'm talking to you. And my siblings and I, my older sister, my younger brother, were like, no, like, we're not playing this game. Like, you should have put your foot down and said no, but you let your wife walk all over you, and, like, that's not cool. You don't do that to your kids. Like, my mom's friend spent over, like, $1,100 to get us home. Like, I'm not talking to you. Like, you can apologize to me, and then I'll decide if I want to communicate with you, but, like, I'm not playing this game. It was so stupid. So yeah, that's the story of the time when my stepmom and dad canceled our plane tickets home, and we still haven't spoke to them since January, and it is now September.